sorry, I thought I keep hearing random noises and like wondering what the random noises is, but obviously I'm gonna hear little noises because everything is turned off. Literally, I'm like a squirrel, I get distracted so easily. I ended up having a massive allergic reaction to the Wellbutrin, and after I had the allergic reaction to the Wellbutrin, I have felt like crap ever since. And for those of you that don't know, I have something called mast cell activation syndrome, which is a condition that causes me to have anaphylactic reactions randomly, but it also makes me very sensitive to medications and, you know, just things in general. If I have a reaction, typically I will go into a flare-up after that if it is a bad reaction, which it was. And my throat has been bothering me a bit because for some reason now I've kind of had this issue for years. But it's just really irritated right now. I have a enlarged tonsil on this side, and it's not just an enlarged, like, there is a really weird shape to it, and there's just a lot of extra tissue that grew in there. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's very uncomfortable because I have a small mouth. I have a very unusually small mouth, which I'm not just saying that. Literally every dentist, every doctor, like, they've said that. But because of that, not only do I have like the dental issues, like the crowding of my teeth, but I also have now, this wasn't caused by me having a small mouth, but I'm just saying it doesn't help matters. It doesn't help the situation to have inflammation in there when you already have a small mouth. And it's not just that one tonsil. My adenoids are always so swollen, and also my uvula, which is that tingly thing in the back there, if you didn't know. I feel like most people know that, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, so. But it doesn't necessarily, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, there's never a time where there's not inflammation, but there's times when it gets worse, if that makes sense. So it's not like it was fine before, but now it's really flaring up, and I've been getting a lot of tonsil stones, which is not fun. Yeah, not fun. And it just, especially at night, it is very uncomfortable, because everything, you know, there's just less space when you're laying down, and it's very uncomfortable. Speaking of sleep, I've been trying to figure out what is going on with that, because, y'all, I literally, like, I have the worst insomnia. It's gotten to the point where I am not even falling asleep until probably after 7, sometimes after 9, and even then, I'm constantly waking up. And when I am asleep, I'm having very odd and vivid nightmares. And to be having nightmares that are vivid every single night, like, for a while, I didn't know that wasn't normal. Like, when that started happening to me a couple of years ago, I thought that it was just from anxiety or even is, because it is rare. And number two, obviously, that's not going to be anyone's first thought. So I was like, okay, that's fine, you know, I let that go. But as I was talking, he kept asking me to repeat myself, and he was saying that I was talking too quiet, and I wasn't even talking quiet, and I kept talking louder, and he still kept saying that he couldn't hear me. So I was like, what is going on? 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 And I was wearing a mask, and my mom wasn't, because my mom forgot her mask. Typically, we do wear masks when we're in doctor's offices, at least, because we're all immune compromised. But my mom had forgot, so I was wearing a mask, and she wasn't. And I noticed that when my mom would talk, it was staring at her lips, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I was so confused. I wasn't putting two and two together. Then, literally out of absolute nowhere, halfway through the appointment, he gets up, walks out of the room, and I hear him ask one of the people at the front desk where his hearing aid was. Me and my mom literally started busting out laughing. Like, he wasn't where he would know that we were laughing. But bro, it's not that it's funny that he needed a hearing aid. It's just we were laughing because we had no idea what was going on the entire time. And come to find out, he genuinely couldn't hear. Like, and it was just awkward. He was not familiar with any of my medical conditions, but like I said, every time I tried to explain it, he didn't hear me. And also, there was like some kind of miscommunication. I don't even know what happened. Sorry guys, 1 second. There was some kind of miscommunication because he thought that I was a self-referral, and I was confused because I didn't know what he was talking about, because you can't just refer yourself to a doctor just because they accept your insurance. Like, you genuinely have to have a referral from a doctor that you already see. So I was like, no, and ow, like, why would he even think that that was possible? He was like, I don't have any of your medical records, you're a self-referral. And I was like, no, I was referred to by a doctor. And he's like, what doctor? Like, I don't think he was intentionally trying to be like rude, but he just did not have any patience. Like, even after he went and got his hearing aid, he still did not really seem to have any patience, and he just wasn't really understanding the situation either. Like, I was trying to explain to him, you know, like the different things that is going on that's affecting my sleep, you know, because my mental health is crap, and he's like, well, your sleep is fine after you fall asleep, it's just that you're going to bed too late. I'm like, bro, I literally just explained to you that I'm not getting quality sleep even when I'm asleep. I'm constantly waking up. Like, it's an issue with falling asleep and staying asleep, not just falling asleep. Honestly, this doctor looked like he was probably in his 80s, and itself is going to cause social impairments, obviously. Impair me socially, I mean, like, I would enjoy working in retail genuinely, but I need to be able to learn how to communicate better, because genuinely, like, the number one issue that I have is my lack of social skills, because it's like who I am on the inside, who I am at my core, is not who the rest of the world is gonna see, and that's not who I'm functioning as, if that even makes sense. Like, I know who I am deep down inside, but I'm not that person on the outside. Like, I'm not someone who, I'm not like this socially awkward person that just wants to avoid everything at my core. That's not who I am at my core. That is a struggle that I have because of being autistic, because of, you know, having you know, different things going on, and I have to try to work through that. And also, it's just been like a setup for failure type of thing, because, like, being homeschooled from 7th grade and up and not really having any friends, etc., like, I never really had to interact with anyone. There was no opportunity to interact with anyone, so it just became easier, or it just became harder, I mean, to, you know, communicate with people and just function in society. I don't want, and that's the thing when you're autistic, when you have social anxiety, whatever it is, people will constantly misunderstand your shyness and think that you're being a snob or that you're not interested in them, etc. And I think it's kind of like a vicious cycle, because it's like I'm insecure because I'm quiet, but then I'm quiet because I'm insecure, if that makes sense. I feel like people can read my thoughts, and that's been an issue that I've had ever since I've been little. I have a very active internal or dialogue, whatever you call it. And so I'm always like narrating everything in my head, but I also have a lot of like just random, like, my head's just always saying random things, you know? And I feel like people can read my thought. I know that they can't, but it's like when I'm in public, I feel like everybody sees through me, and it's a vicious cycle, because, like I said, I'm quiet because I'm insecure, but I'm insecure because I'm quiet. And the thing is like, it's not easy to force yourself into uncomfortable situations. And when it comes to socializing, I feel like that's one of the hardest ones, because it's like, you can't have that just go and get it over with mindset like you might be able to with some other things, because you're trying to teach yourself to not put so much pressure on yourself to act a certain way, talk a certain way, etc. And then you end up putting more pressure on yourself because you don't want to screw it up. And it's just, I feel like I'm making no sense, but when it comes to like, rather, sorry, what was I gonna say? I do want to go to college. I don't know if that's gonna be feasible. I'm trying not to like automatically say or think that it's unrealistic or realistic. I'm kind of trying to remain neutral about it right now, because I need like I would look better and I would feel more confident with eyelash extensions. But y'all, I have been so paranoid. I don't know if any of y'all heard about this story. I know it's a rare occurrence, but my brain takes that information and runs with it. It was a story about this woman who ended up contracting fungal meningitis from her eyelash extensions. Now, I think my mom told me about this. I think what happened was that she wasn't cleaning them, and then she ended up with an eye infection, and then that eye infection turned into fungal meningitis. But she never had any symptoms in the process. She literally went from being perfectly fine to waking up with not being, she couldn't see, she had a pounding headache. So I don't know how she could have had an eye infection beforehand if there was no sign of it. I don't even know. I don't know how they got from point A to point W, whatever, but that kind of freaked me out a little bit because I'm terrified of brain stuff. Brain stuff is disgusting to me. It's terrifying. Meningitis is absolutely petrifying. Like, do not talk to me about that. And I mean, obviously, I would be very religious about keeping them clean and all that, but I also, I mean, it's expensive. The upkeep is expensive. They can get tangled. I don't know. I really wanted to get eyelash extensions for a really long time, and plus, it cuts your makeup time in half. I wouldn't have to put mascara on anymore. Like, that's a plus. And plus, when people have eyelash extensions, it's like, it does something. I don't know how to explain it. But I've tried, like, natural ways of growing my eyelashes out, but it just isn't worth it because the results are so small in such a long time period, if they even do anything at all. So, it's just not worth it, in my opinion. But yeah, I have been recording this for almost 40 minutes, so I'm probably gonna end the video here. But thank you so much for watching.